Okay, this one is ready to go. I don't know how old it is, maybe a week and a half. If you don't rinse enough, you get like, you're gonna get like mold and stuff at the bottom. It starts to get kind of gummy. So once they get a little big, you want to take that bottom tray off. And let the roots grow. Can you see those? You want to let the roots grow through the bottom. So at that point, you would stack them like this instead of using the tray on the bottom. So the tray on the bottom is to hold the moisture until this starts to happen. So at this point, so I'll show you what point that is. So these guys, you can see, are just starting to put on their little bit of roots. They need to stay moist. So these guys probably have another day. They need rinse twice a day, and then they might have another day before I take the bottom tray away. So for now, I'm just going to rinse them. This one is going out to the rabbits today, so it doesn't need rinsed again. I'm just going to pull it out like that. You can see which side the roots were able to grow through and which side they weren't. You want it to grow through, so you got to remove that bottom tray. Alright, so that's going out to rabbits. These have some good roots on them now, and they are not really happy in this closed air system at this point. They want out. So we're going to transition these guys into here. And once again, it's too many. I'm still learning my space capacity for these trays. So I'm going to rinse these really good because they're starting to feel a little slimy because they don't have enough space. That's when you get slime, is when you have stagnant water or it's too crowded. That root, I could go take this out and plant it right now and it would do great. Peas are going to make something similar to this, but it'll be curly and it'll have round leaves on it. And it'll have a root system, and it will pretty much rely on its own root system as if it was soil for a short amount of time. You can call it a microgreen if you want to. They can be grown in a soil-free system. Pretty much anything. You can do sunflowers, you can do peas, you can do broccoli, you can do radishes. Don't do tomatoes or peppers. They are nightshades and they will kill your animals. That's what it looks like. I'm going to leave the lid on for this one, but as you can see underneath it's open because now I want these roots to be going down. And then once we get some greenery coming up, I'll take the lid off so that the sun can help them grow better. But for now, they're not quite at that stage. They need a little higher humidity. In fact, I'm going to rinse that real quick. They need a little higher humidity. If they were in a soil environment, they'd be just fine. If I was planting them in a soil environment, they'd be just fine in a damp soil environment. But since they are soil-free, they need that extra little bit of moisture until they leaf out. So I'm going to put my next trays back in the window. Alright, and I don't like to use big jars like this. Usually I like to use 1 quart jars because otherwise, if you do a big quart jar, it's usually too much seed. You just need a 1 quart jar. But this time I had too many pea seeds. I was trying to get them all to sprout at the same time to see if they were even viable. So I had a big quart, a big 2 quart jar. Okay, I wanted to show you something really quick. I want to move this away. This is treated pea seeds. It has an inoculant on it that is poisonous to animals. Any seed that is a funny color or that doesn't say for sprouting or untreated, if it doesn't say untreated, if it says that it's been treated, it has an inoculant on it that can be a bacteria, or it can even be a fungicide, which is a poison. Do not use that for sprouting, ever, 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 ever. All right, so what I wanted to show you next was sunflowers. These are the ones that my mom grows the most, is sunflowers, and they are edible for humans. So this is from Sprout People. It's meant to be sprouted. It's untreated. It's perfectly safe. If you're going to eat the seeds or the sprouts yourself, it needs to be food grade. This is not food grade. This came from a farm out of a silo. It has not been cleaned. It is actually very, very clean, but you want to be very careful about your source of food when you yourself are personally going to eat it. I'll just say that. Do I feel confident about eating this? If I was starving, yes. Otherwise, I go the safe route. I think I just got my bag wet, which is bad. You want to keep your seeds super dry. All right. So here's my sunflower seeds. And it's nice to get them started in the jar. The jar holds the moisture and opens up the trays for you a little better. Okay, Missy, here you go.
You moved his cage back.
Yeah, I did. Okay, got a couple pieces on the top. Don't let them fall off. All right. So, hi, Mama. Are you hungry? Okay. They've already got it mowed down pretty good on the grass. I see that they're kind of waiting on the berries themselves. That one found the mat though, and it was yummy. So my rabbits are New Zealand and Rex mix, and you can see in this little guy, he has more of a Rex look. His fiber is softer, less coarse than the other bunnies. So I'm going to put some water in this, and it's just going to soak for a few hours. It can actually soak for a whole day, because what that is doing is waking the seed up. Now, do you want to soak it for more than a day? No. But if you soak it for a couple hours, that's plenty. But if you forget and you soak it for a full day, just at night, dump the water out. So this is going to be too big. Let's find my other lid. So this is a finer screen. You can see the difference. Peas work really well in this, sunflowers not so much. And again, you could just use cheesecloth. I mean, as long as it's sterile. You don't want to take something that was dirty and in with your dirty washed that way. You want to boil a cheesecloth first. In fact, maybe I'll find some cheesecloth and see if I can show you how to do it so that you don't feel like you need to buy something like this. And that way you could use any jar. So there we go. I'm going to just stick this in the window above my sink so I remember to rinse it. For this one I have mung beans. And this is a colander. You can see it has a fine mesh. Just take that out for now. These go really far. That's probably way too much. But I'm going to soak them in the bowl part. And then tonight I will drain them and put them in the strainer part. And I need to find the lid for that. Alright, this is the lid for it. This is actually a yogurt strainer that I use for cheese, but it works for so many different things. It's called a Euro cuisine. So if you see one of these at, the dollar store or something, they're great. So I'm just trying to show you different ways, different things. If you had a normal colander, you could put this inside a bowl with a lid, and it would work just as well as this special hooty doody thing. Alfalfa now comes in a GMO form. So you're going to want, anytime you do any kind of sprouting, you want it to be organic. And if you care about GMOs, you want it to be non-GMO. I only buy non-GMO. So this is my alfalfa seed that I'm going to be using for a green manure in my growing. But for now, I'm going to use it for some sprouts. So I'm going to see if I can get some to come out without actually opening it. So here's my cloth. This I use for cheese, so it's already sterilized. To sterilize it, you just put it in your teapot and you boil it on low for like 15 minutes. The reason why you want it to be boiled is because it's going to get wet. And in getting wet, it can harbor bacteria and stuff like that. So you saw how small those seeds were. Oh, I need to get it wet. All right, so they're going to soak. So they're going to soak for a couple hours or until tonight when I remember them. And then what I will do is when I rinse them, I'm going to pour the water out through the cloth. All right, so this is going to be for your really big seeds, your big beans and your peas. I'm trying to think if anything else is big enough to use this one. I don't think so. Not unless it's already sprouted out and has leaves and stuff on it to block it from falling through. All right, so hopefully that was helpful.
What about corn?
Yeah, you could definitely do corn. I don't know if it would have too much sugar for most animals. Okay, there's the sunflowers, there's the mulberries, there's the sweet potatoes. Okay, the bucket needs to go back out. All right, just transplanted my tomatoes. There's the mung beans, there's the sunflower, or no, there's the peas, there's the wheat, other herbs, and then another tray down here, and then there's the mother sweet potato. You can see she's just a potato that I buried in some dirt. First I soaked her in a lot of water. Sweet potato vines are very high in protein. In Texas, they did a study at Texas A&M, and they found that a rabbit can live solely on sweet potato vines. It's high enough in protein, and they don't grow quite as quickly as rabbits raised on like pellets, but it's something you can totally grow even in our really cold climate. Last year in the hotbed, I planted sweet potatoes in March, so we had lots and lots of grains. And I'll show you some footage of that. Hopefully this is helpful. I'm trying to help you find a way to feed your livestock without having to spend $20 a bag at the feed store, how to grow your own, how to sprout your own, how to replace your pellets. So hopefully it's helpful. I do have an ebook on rabbits on my Etsy store, but I have a big list that I'll put in the description of rabbit books that are helping me to get to where I feel better about raising rabbits, keeping them out of confinement, and also feeding them more naturally. So hopefully that's helpful. If you'd like to hear what I'm doing daily with the rabbits and all the other animals, you're welcome to go be part of my Patreon, and I'll put that in the link in the description.
How about French toast for breakfast?
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
So the batter yesterday was
I think it's a little too dry here next to the wood burning stove without the bottom tray on, at the very least. So that's why I have this one in the black seed tray, is so that I can add water and it keeps the roots a little moister. In this one, because it doesn't have a tray on the bottom or the top, the roots come through and then they air kill. They dry out and they die. And so I think it would have been wiser to leave the tray on the bottom and the top just a little bit longer.